This is Hollywood, where this current cinema review is brought to you by Barbara G. Brown. Matías Bombal with you. Bleecker Street Media offers The Last Word, directed by Mark Pellington. Harriet Lawler is a no-nonsense businesswoman who, at the start of her career, was a pioneer in the then male-dominated advertising agency business. She took no prisoners in her claw to the top of her craft, adroitly doing anything necessary to be smarter, faster, and better than her partners and competitors. Every aspect of her life was within her complete control. Now, in her sunset years, she even wants a hand at her own obituary. Shirley MacLaine is Harriet Lawler. She marches into the local newspaper office and demands to see the obituary writer, and in her usual hell on wheels fashion, sets the tone of what she wants.
You want me to write your obituary?
That's what I want.
Okay. Well, I am the obituary writer. So when the time comes, I will be writing your obituary.
I want you to write it now.
Is Ron coming back?
That's the wrong question. The right question is why.
Why?
Good question.
Thanks.
Miss Sherman, I'm a reasonable woman. I have never been surprised about anything, and I've never found myself in a situation that I couldn't handle. So, as a reasonable woman, the thought of leaving my obituary to chance is completely unreasonable to me.
But that is what everybody does. That is what people have been doing for hundreds of years.
If I had motivated myself by what other people thought and did, I would not have achieved what I've achieved, and I've achieved a great deal. How my achievements are memorialized by you is of great interest to me.
Okay.
Here's the names of a few hundred people.
That somewhat beleaguered obituary writer is Anne, played by Amanda Seyfried. Anne is at first not sure what to make of Harriet, and her angst only gets worse with increased meetings with the woman for whom it seems no one person had anything nice to say about. Anna visits her past husband, Edward, played by Philip Baker Hall, in a great return to the screen. She also visits Margaret Dumont. No, not the Margaret Dumont of the Marx Brothers movie fame, though no doubt screenwriter Stuart Ross Fink used it in tribute to the great actress of the golden era of Hollywood. The Margaret Dumont of this picture is played by lovely Millicent Martin, who I adored in 1965's Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines, or How I Flew from London to Paris in 25 hours, 11 minutes. So great to see her on screen again, though ever so briefly. Anna's not turning up much in the way of positive material for her obituary. Her boss at the newspaper checks in with her, and Anne storms away saying she puts the bitch in obituary. When at last she thought she might escape her subject for a little quiet time at home, Harriet comes a-knocking.
Harriet, what are you
I do
doing
not
here?
wish to be sodomized in the hallway.
Do you know what time it is?
Sit down, please. We need to talk.
What is this?
These are obituaries from newspapers all over the country. I want you to read them and see what other obituary writers are doing.
Wow, I'm sorry you don't like what I wrote, but that was just me writing about your life.
But my life is not over yet. Now, I have determined there are 4 essential elements to a really great obituary.
Is that right?
That's right. 1, the deceased should be loved by their families.
Right.
2, the deceased should be admired by their co-workers.
I know.
3, the deceased must have touched someone's life unexpectedly. And if said person was a minority or a cripple, so much the better.
Okay, and the 4th?
And the 4th, that's the wild card. I do not know what my wild card is.
Thereby hangs a tale. What will the wild card be? That sentence which precedes the obituary with dramatic flourish and describes the ball of fire of a person's life in a nutshell. Along the way to find that answer, Anne will encounter the art hidden under the hard shell of Harriet's imposing nature. Harriet does, in fact, find a lovely little girl in a foster home to champion, meeting the third element of her imposed key points of a good obituary. With Anne's help, Harriet discovers a small independent radio station struggling with analog broadcast by choice. She moves in.
Well, I wish to speak to Robin Sands, please.
Yeah. Hi. I'm Robin.
Yes, I'd like a job as a disc jockey.
Yeah. I'm not really looking at the moment.
But I noticed that your sound transmission is not compressed.
That's right, yeah.
Is that because of the Teletronics tube that you use?
Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah, we couldn't afford the big digital stuff even if we wanted it, and we don't want it.
Well, I should hope not.
Damn right. And who are you?
I'm Harriet Lawler, formerly of Lawler Advertising. I am an older woman, as you might have gathered, but with age comes certain attributes, and one of mine is I'm up very early every morning. I would gladly take over the drive time slot of Dawn Silver.
I'm Dawn.
No, you're out.
In that scene, you saw actor Thomas Sadowski as the station manager Robin Sands, and Little Miss Brenda, played by Ann Jewel Lee Dixon. Soon Anne begins to see that Harriet's pushy nature is to make those around her be the best that they can be, rather than harshness from malice, or as one character described Harriet, and I quote, "the angriest vagina this side of China." This might have been an average, predictable story about a dragon lady trying to make things right at the end of her life, but with Shirley MacLaine it becomes fascinating to watch, and frankly, it is great to see many performers on screen that still master the craft, though they are now in the greatest generation. We need more films with adults, made for adults, like this one, and Shirley MacLaine shines here, her star becoming even more brilliant. As Harriet, she says in her new job as disc jockey to her listeners, "Please don't have a nice day. Have a day that matters. Have a day that's true. Have a day that is direct. Have a day that's honest. A nice day? You'll be miserable. Have a day that means something." To that end, this picture means something. I suggest you see it. The Motion Picture Association of America has given this an R rating. This is your pal, Matías Bombal, bidding you a fond farewell.